What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we're returning to Universal Century 153 in Mobile Suit Victory Gundam. Last time, we met our hero Uso, who got into Victory Gundam for the first time, after dealing with the Zanscare Empire's Vespa forces, specifically the Yellow Jackets and a man named Chronicle. He started helping the Ligue Militaire after Marbet was injured and Vespa incinerated Uwig. This time, Uso will witness a decapitation. Katagina is kidnapped, and we will meet a new team in a new transformable mobile suit. So let's get into this. After messing with his friend's spine, rude by the way, he disconnects the core fighter from the top and bottom and lands in the hangar. All the League mechanics are amazed by how young Uso is. He goes to find Shakti, who is now a young mom. She's too young, that's too much pressure to handle, especially with Chronicle always creeping on her. One of Chronicle's co-pilots from last episode, Gary Tan, survived, and Daddy needs his pain meds. He wants to avenge his friend, Sabat, from last episode who died. Fala Griffin, a Yellow Jackets commander, is informed that Gary is taking the Godzorla. As he takes the mobile suit, Fala lets him go so he could test the weapon. He heads out in the Godzorla. The ZMT-S13G Godzorla is an experimental ground-use machine. It seems to have better sensors than the Shakyu, but it wasn't selected for mass production. It does, however, have an improved beam rotor. It is equipped with Vulcans, a beam gun which doubles as a beam saber, a 9-tube missile launcher on the thighs, and a beam rifle. Meanwhile, Chronicle sneaks into the League base while Gary Tan attacks in the Godzorla. Katagina doesn't want the League to use Uso as a tool to fight for their war, but he wants to fight to protect everyone. He launches in the core fighter and attaches the boots. He goes in to attack Gary Tan. The Godzorla hides in the smoke. Fala and her team are in the Recarl. How do you make a show with a baby and a mobile armor named Carl? I don't know why that bothers me so much. The ZM-A05G Recarl is a mobile armor for Earth use, but mainly used as a transportation vehicle. This can't be used in space, but we will later see that it can float on water. It has 2 fusion reactors and is designed with long-range artillery in mind. Weapons include a megaparticle gun and 2 beam cannons. They are watching the Gundam docking process. The two go in to stab one another. Victory is damaged while the Godzorla is split in half. Gary Tan gets out of his mobile suit and points a gun at Uso, but he doesn't stop. He threatens to use his Vulcans on him, but he doesn't. Uso goes, "Oh yeah, guns don't do shit to a Gundam." They take Gary Tan as a prisoner. Back at the base, Shakti wants to go back to Casarelia, their small village outside of Uwig. Katagina thinks he and Shakti should go back. Chronicle continues sneaking around the base while another attack by Vespa continues. As the attack goes down, he tells Shakti he won't die before learning about their parents' sudden disappearance. Chronicle saves Shakti from the rubble. She seems to recognize him. "See, you shouldn't have been creeping." Uso launches in the core fighter. He goes up against Watari and his squad. For the first time, Uso is afraid. But he does something that even most adult anime fans can't even do. He pushes through it and perseveres. Got him. Uso splits up the 3 Zolos. They regroup and attack from below. Back at base, they work on giving Uso some cover. One Zolo just fires recklessly in the forest, almost hitting Marbet. Katagina and the kids use the Gundam beam rifle as a turret. As they fire, Suzy seems so mad that they miss and didn't murder someone. You gotta start when you're young. Chronicle is trying to figure out where they are taking the Gundam parts. He attacks one League member. They launch the core top and boots so Uso can transform. But one Zolo shoots down the boots. Uso says, "I don't need no boots." He transforms into half a mobile suit and still handles business. As they prep a second pair of boots, Chronicle comes in and shoots Oi and Young. Katagina recognizes his face, just like Shakti. He takes Oi and Katagina prisoner. They flee on the shuttle, which they also call a Wappa. I guess just everything that hovers is a Wappa now. Suddenly, an explosion goes off. Uso splits 2 of the Zolos. One Zolo goes out of control and holds on to his comrade. He fears death and is useless to Watari, so he kills his own men. Uso witnesses this. The Kemyon launches the boots. Uso docks to form the Gundam. Watari knows of the Gundam legacy. He thinks because they are the ones rebelling against the Federation, then it should fight on their side. Uso responds with a dropkick. He turns the head of the Gundam and arms completely around. Do all mobile suits have this ability, or is this a new feature? I feel like tactics like this should have been utilized earlier in the timeline. Watari and his comrade flee. Also, his comrade's name is Trump. Uso returns to find that Oi and Katagina have been taken by Vespa. He and Odello begin fighting one another. With everyone going mad, Shakti decides to head back to Casarelia with Carl. Chronicle meets up with Watari and Trump. Trump tries to drop his colonies all over Katagina's face. Watari kills Trump and apologizes to Chronicle for his men. He is going to take care of the Gundam on his own. Uso heads out to find the downed Zolo from earlier. No one is inside the mobile suit. That is when he is attacked. He does do this neat sweeping parry to counterbalance himself. That was a nice touch. Watari is hiding underground. He attacks the Gundam. Watari cuts through Uso's beam shield and slices his arm off. As the Zolo rushes towards him, he decides to throw his beam saber directly at the mobile suit. What a shot! Watari tries to escape from his Zolo, but Uso won't let him. He realizes that his opponent was a kid this whole time. The fact that he was fighting a kid is too much weight to bear for Watari. He says that children shouldn't be waging war. He tells Uso to run because he is going to blow himself up. But he barely gives Uso like 3 seconds. What the hell, dude? Uso struggles to come to terms with the fact that a guy just blew up in front of him. Uso wants to get back to Godzorla to check up with Shakti. He is also worried about Katejina and Oi. Romero tells Uso, "Hey man, did you know that Bespa uses interrogation pills? And sometimes they could cause brain aneurysms." Marbei is like, "Bro, he's a kid, maybe tone down the brain aneurysm talk." Uso heads out on a Wappa. Odello thinks that Godzorla sounds like a cool place. They decide to bail as well. Once again, Shakti is hanging out in the forest, heading back to Godzorla. She is surrounded by Battlebikes. The Battlebike is a scaled-down version of the Galasan. There are 2 variants of this Battlebike. The O2 is designed to take down mobile targets with its rapid-fire 2-barreled machine gun, along with 1 regular machine gun. The Battlebike Co. has a more powerful beam cannon. This is designed to take down larger buildings and used for siege purposes, or in this case, a trench run. Odello and the kids meet up with Uso. Fowler picks up Chronicle and the prisoners. Uso notices the Battlebikes. They pretend that Warren is sick so they could get past them. The Battlebikes find the Kemyon and begin attacking. Marbei gets into the core fighter and launches. Warren brought along a rocket launcher for some reason. Good call. Marbei lands the core fighter and Uso gets in. Chronicle and Fowler wonder if they're going to mass produce the Gundam that the League has. Susie loads bazookas. Start 'em young. That's what I always say. The Kemyon gets out of the trench and helps out the team. Romero almost dies while on top of the truck. The Kemyon launches boots to create the bottom fighter. Around Godzorla airspace is Lieutenant Arbeo and a squad of Tomliats dropping down. The ZM-S09G Tomliat is built from the Zolo. Many pilots struggled with the docking procedure of the Zolo. This makes things easier by not having a top and bottom, but rather one uniform body. The pilot no longer has to focus on controlling the boots. To cut down on cost, this unit shares many parts with the Zolo. Weapons include a new beam rotor, a beam tomahawk, nose Vulcans, 2 4-2 missile pods, 2 2-2 missile pods, a beam rifle, a beam bazooka, and a Gatling gun. He and his team are going to support the ground team. The Gundam transforms, but it doesn't have its arms yet. Uso says, "Please don't turn me into a murderer, because I will murder you." The Kemyon launches the top and the Gundam completes its transformation. The commander of the Battlebikes say that they will show the world the power of the bike. "We're going to bring it back! In a world of hover vehicles, the bike will reign supreme." Spoilers, they do not. Meanwhile, Fowler is clockwork oranging Oi. He won't tell them anything, even if they send him to the guillotine. As Uso fights the Battlebikes, the Tomliats come in. Uso tries to shoot at one of them using his new type sense, but he misses. They tell him to pull back as he rushes in too far. Arbeo returns to base to talk to Chronicle. He gets a call informing him that the team at Godzorla has failed. Uso is getting yelled at for chasing the Tomliats. When they get a transmission. On the transmission, Fowler brings out Oi and places him in the guillotine. They drop the blades on Oi, chopping off his head in front of the world. Uso realizes this isn't a game. Uso has a dream where his head is chopped off from the guillotine. Just a normal dream for a child to be having, no big deal. He and Shakti wake up. They plan on sneaking out, but Marbei catches them. He is tired of the killing and has something to take care of back at Godzorla. They tell him that he is special, but he still goes. Marbei finds it pathetic that they have to rely on a new type child. Chronicle doesn't like that Fowler sent Oi to the guillotine so swiftly. Lieutenant Arbeo tells him that his team will take care of the Gundam. Chronicle is told by Ghetto Dupree that he will be escorting Fowler back into space, where she is to receive a court-martial. They are to head to RD Gibraltar. This seems to be somewhere around Spain, and they have a mass driver system. Katejina looks on at the Tomliat team taking off. She doesn't seem concerned at all that Oi just died. The Kemyon caravan picks up on the Tomliats nearby. Marbei launches in the core fighter. Odello helps out from the ground. Meanwhile, Uso sees the fighting and decides to go help out again. Make up your mind, kid. The core fighter goes into the forest to hide until the Kemyon launches the boots. Marbei transforms. Arbeo transforms into mobile suit form. He grabs the Gundam from behind, but Marbei ejects in the core fighter. Her leg is still seriously injured. Arbeo fires and hits Marbei. That is when, surprise, parachute Uso. She grabs him as he falls towards the core fighter. They head into the forest where Uso drops off Marbei. He keeps thinking about the guillotine. This isn't a healthy thought for someone your age. He finds the down top and connects the Gundam once again. His right arm is damaged. He is surrounded and he runs away so he can pick them off one by one. A falling building pancakes one of the mobile suits. Dude thought his beam rotors were gonna save him. Uso picks off another. They surround him once again. Arbeo tells his men to fall back when another white core fighter comes in. It takes out another Tomliat. Arbeo and his remaining team retreat. We learn that the pilot of the second unit is Oliver Inoue, and he is another Gundam pilot. He too is stunned that a kid is piloting the Gundam. And that will do it for this episode. Uso starts this episode playing around, but once things got real and he saw himself a decapitation, he stopped playing around. With Bespa, the soldiers also don't play around amongst the ranks as we see officers killing friendlies. When you don't have too many bodies to fight your war, you have to force them to fight through fear of death. A world where you can't trust anyone. Next time, Katagina gets Stockholm Syndrome and begins to like Bespa, and we will see the introduction of the Gun Easy and the Shrike team. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, nothing instills fear into a child like watching someone lose their head. Peace.